It has been such a long time since Raj and I were together. It is a beautiful sight. It's been, what has it been, 4 months?
Dude, it's been like a long time. I honestly can't. It probably has been like 4 months, dude.
Yeah, it's been. How's it been? How's it been?
Been good, man. Busy. The off season kind of was nice. There was some downtime, so vacation time here and there. I mean, I always stay grinding with the page and everything, and keeping up to date. But the last couple weeks have been busy because training camp. I mean, that was nice, and then the preseason games. It's like getting back into the swing of the season. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a crazy year. I forgot because
Yeah.
off season's like whatever, but back to the grind, man. It's fun, but it was a good couple months. So how have you been?
I'm good. I'm back at school. It's raining in Tucson today because why not? So I nearly died coming home from class,
There you
but
go.
yeah, I'm glad I'm getting some more content up with this live network, and we're 11 hours into this
Dude,
live stream.
that's crazy, man. I gotta say
Yeah,
that is dedication. You guys been putting in the work. Much respect to you
yeah,
guys. And I saw that you guys raised your goal. You guys hit your goal.
yeah. We've raised over $3,000. Three
Nice.
zero zero zero.
That's pretty good, man.
Uh,
Keep that.
Nick,
That's dope.
we've more than doubled it. Like Nick said, he wanted $1,500, and then this has just been awesome. We've had so many teams. We had the Steelers guy, he was awesome. The Bills guys were great. You're here. We had the Dolphins guys on earlier. The Jets, so the Jets. So that, yeah, what a day, and we get to close it out. So I got to ask, QB1, Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Area?
Trey area. So I mean, man, I don't know if you've been watching my channel or all the stuff that's been going on. I mean, that has literally been the talk of the off season, as it should. I mean, we've sat here for the last couple of months, and what do we talk about? The Niners trading up. Now, who are they going to draft? And then it was Trey Lance,
Yep.
and then how's Trey going to be? And are they going to make him wait? All that blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, like we talked about before, and then I predicted it before, Jimmy G is going to be your starter week one.
Mm-hmm.
But Trey looked great this offseason. I think he's further along than anybody expected. He's going to play in the games. As we saw this last preseason game, I mean, they mixed them up. You got a two quarterback system, the two-headed monsters, I like to call them. It's unbelievable. Defenses are going to be, they're going to be confused. They're not going to be able to game plan. Jimmy looked good this offseason. The competition brought the best out of him. And Trey wants to prove himself. So really, quarterback one is Jimmy, but quarterback 1B is Trey. It's going to be two quarterbacks until the point is when Trey's 100% ready in Kyle's eyes, it's his team, no looking back, like we've said before. But this is great. You're going to have Trey getting to learn with live reps instead of sitting on the bench and holding the
For
clipboard.
sure.
He's going to build chemistry with the receivers and the O line and the running back. When he's in, he's not going to have to figure out, oh, where did the linebacker or where did the running backs line up? Where does this? He's going to know a lot more than an average player. And we have a good team and a good set of coaches to nurture him along the way. So, really, honestly, Jimmy's your quarterback one right now, and he's handled this very well. Class act. He's brought Trey up, and he's been very supportive. And then this last weekend, the best thing you could say is, with the two quarterbacks, because most people would say it causes controversy. He says whatever's best for this team to win. They don't care. They want to win games. But to answer your question, simply answer that, Jimmy's your quarterback one for now.
Okay. So I got into quite a few arguments over the last few weeks because with Niners fans, with people that hate PFF, and I want to go on record and say, acknowledge the PFF grade exists.
Yeah.
But remember, that is not the final product. That is, go back to the Chiefs game, realize that Steve Spagnuolo was just being a dipwad to the 49ers. He was being cruel. He pretended that was Super Bowl 54.
He really did.
He pretended that was Jimmy tear his ACL against the Chiefs?
He did tear his ACL against the Chiefs 2-3 years ago.
Okay, so he pretended it was that game. He pretended it was a Super Bowl. He didn't. It was no preseason game to Steve Spagnuolo, and it was no preseason game to that Chiefs defense. I watched a Brett Coleman breakdown of what Trey was doing, and you can't even blame Trey because he's playing with the twos and it's against ones and it's against ones and twos and the twos are doing the things that the ones do and it's all crazy confusing and it's a preseason game. And I get that he had a PFF grade in the 50s and I get that he had a couple dropped interceptions and I'll defend the PFF grade and say, well, he had several dropped interceptions, but PFF grade is not everything, and there are a lot of things to be excited about. The throw to Trent Sherfield. No. Oh man, I saw a side by side of a play that Jimmy ran, exact same play, and Jimmy left it 20 yards short and Trey, just hash to hash. Oh
my God. So let's talk about that because I got a little bit of beef with the stupid PFF grade. So first off, I was at the game live. I had to see Trey area. That was the first game in Levi Stadium in 2 years almost. I had to be there for the culture. Yep, everybody was excited to be there. They saw me. They loved me. I love the fans. I went there, saw Trey in action. That 80-yard bomb to Sherfield, unbelievable. And that's what Trey Lance does. He opens up the offense. He gives you that arm talent. He's going to take the top off of defense with that arm, the ability to run. He's a dual-threat quarterback. He's 21 years old. He's still got to learn. Of course, he's not perfect. But the fact that the Chiefs left their starters up against Trey Lance with a second-team offensive line, and that offensive line crapped the bed. They were not good. You had Chris Jones, he's NFL top 100 player, top 30 or 40.
He's top 30 in my list.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man. And he's going up against our twos. Of course, he's going to take the sack. And I know PFF sit there said, or you mentioned the dropped interception. Let's talk about Trey Lance and his just overall performance. He led the NFL this preseason with receivers drops. They dropped 9 passes. You give him 9 more of those passes, his PFF grade goes up, his accuracy goes up, everything goes up. Yardage, his PFF grade, to me, is a little whack because of the fact that you had receivers didn't help. But his first play of his NFL career in preseason was a pass to Brandon Ayuk, who everybody thinks Brandon Ayuk's going to have a great season. Drop pass. You can't have that as your first pass. Mentally, you can break down a little bit. But his second pass, the bomb to Sherfield. So, I mean, yeah, he hasn't been perfect. And I know people are going to sit there and criticize him. Their preseason games, that's what they're there for, to get them the reps, to get the knowledge and everything out there, and to build the rust off of the player. He played 1 game last year, right? So that, you got to kind of take that into consideration. Everything he did into preparation was practice drills. He was going and working out with, coaches and this and that, different QB coaches. And he put in a lot of work, but it's different from a live game action. That was the first game he played in a year against Kansas City. So really, I don't take that PFF grade into consideration. I don't know. I'm so I don't really love PFF grades because it's such a weird system. And I know that's one of the only systems we have really to grade these players. So people hold it in high regard, but I got to keep saying those 9 drops make a big difference in his PFF grade. So imagine if they had 2 drops compared to 9, whole different story.
So I will play devil's advocate a little bit with PFF that I don't know. I acknowledge it exists. I use it in, I don't say it's the thing, but it's if I'm doing my top 100, I think it's useful to say, hey, this guy was an 85 over a PFF grade. I kind of use it like baseball war that, say, I don't know, Mookie Betts just hit a homer against my Braves. So if Mookie Betts is a higher WAR than Freddie Freeman, that doesn't mean he's better than Freddie Freeman, but it means the pool of players that Betts is a part of is generally better than Freddie Freeman, right?
Oh yeah, I agree. And I respect.
You're gonna have PFF. Individual disagreements, but
I mean, I do respect it because like I said, it's a grading system, and we don't have a lot of grading, so you have to kind of look at it, but you have to take it at face value. To me, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's not the end all be all grading system. There's a lot more to it. That's part of it, but there needs to be more substance. And when you dig deeper into it, like I said, those 9 drop passes, it kind of changes what you really look at. If you just look at the value at the PFF grade and you didn't watch any grades, you're gonna be like, oh man, he's horrible. 52.4 PFF grade, he must be bad. If you watch the games, you see, oh, his receivers were dropping passes, his O-line was horrendous. And it changes the narrative. That to me is what is the difference. If you watch the games, you watch the film, you study the tape. So I've seen all the film. I've seen all 22 this offseason of the games. Whole different perspective than just looking at the PFF number. It's a part of it. Like you said, you can use it in your rankings. Whole different story. You got to look at the whole package. But I respect it.
And I will say that I'll use a Lamar Jackson example. His two best throws against the Chiefs last season, big time throws from PFF. So those were the best plays that PFF said. Both dropped. Marquise Brown had one. Mark Andrews had one. So PFF does acknowledge the drops, and they will reward Lance for making a good throw. And if it's dropped, they'll just say dropped and good throw for Lance, right? So if, say, like Mac Jones had one, like a 30-yard drop it in the bucket to, I think, Jacoby Myers. Myers dropped it.
Yeah.
It's a big time throw for Mac. It's bad on Myers for dropping it, but it's a plus for Mac. It's a big time throw. So PFF does account that he had 9 drops. So he's getting positive grades on those throws, or he's not getting penalized because the receiver dropped it, unless it's like it's like Lamar Jackson is catchably inaccurate. So you can catch the pass, but it's not a great spot, So if Lance is catchably inaccurate, PFF might ding him for a dropped pass, but it's a pass that he should have thrown better. So PFF does acknowledge the drop passes. They count all the turnover-worthy plays. They count all the big-time throws. And Trey did have that unreal throw to Sherfield, was certainly a big-time throw and was the throw of the preseason.
Yeah.
But I think there is some value. I thought Lance was fine. I didn't see a whole lot of Lance. And then I saw the PFF grade and thought, that's weird. And then I went back, watched every snap, and thought, yeah, I can see why PFF gave him like a 55, because I think 2 dropped interceptions. Yeah, there were a bevy of drops, and he had some nice throws. But I know there was one, the Chiefs game, I think it was short of the sticks that that's not a great throw. And even if the receiver catches it, he's short, and you have to punt there. So
yeah,
I don't know. I would say it's a preseason PFF grade. It's not going to make or break his career. I still have been an outspoken guy saying I think Lance should start week 1. That's not going to happen, but hey, that's okay.
No, and even Shanahan said he didn't do enough to change the fact that Jimmy started. And I mean, I think Trey had a great camp. I've seen him. I was live at training camp a lot of times. I saw him. He looked good. He looked poised. He looked pretty solid in stretches in the preseason. But again, it's different in the preseason. It's a whole different ballgame. And it's just the fact that Trey was just there to get the reps and the mental rust off, the physical rust off, just to get him in their live game action. And he's coming along further than I think a lot of people are there. But I feel like with people that, like you said, starting week 1, I don't think it's a bad idea, because I think they still can win the games with Trey, and then you develop them along the way. So it's not a bad argument, because I had people tell me, oh, it's stupid, don't start him. He's still young. He's still raw. He has a lot to go. His PFF grade's low. He's missing passes. He had to intercept. But still, that's rookie mistakes. You expect it to happen. And really.
And Link Fields had those same issues. And
exactly. And the O-line. He's going to play with the first-team O-line. He's going to play with Kittle and Debo and Ayuk and all these guys. They'll still win games because they have a good defense and a good run game. And he'll develop. He might make mistakes, but you would expect it. Now, if Jimmy's starting, which he will, and he makes mistakes, now it's going to be a whole different story of, okay, he shouldn't be making those mistakes. He's been in the league a lot longer. Veterans shouldn't be making it. So then it's going to become a situation where they're like, okay, you need to start Lance. But that's why I like the fact that, they're doing the 2 quarterback system. So they're both going to be out there, and they're both going to be on a pedestal, and they can kind of gauge where things go. But how many snaps each gets, that's going to be determined. But, man, I'm excited either way.
Yeah, I'm pumped to watch some Niner football this year. And I will say with the PFF thing that people fail to mention that Trevor Lawrence was under 60 for a lot of the preseason, and that the Justin Fields was under 60. So it's not like Lance was far and away the worst quarterback there. Like, heck, I believe Kyler had the lowest PFF grade among quarterbacks in the preseason.
It's bad. It's bad. But
CJ Beathard, Niners legend, had the best.
CJ Beathard, man, I was watching him this preseason. I was like, why did we let this man go? He was killing it. We picked up Rosen and Sudfeld, and we didn't even keep him. I would have loved to have CJ. And, I was happy that we cut Sudfeld, because I didn't want him to waste a roster spot on him. Right. But yeah, CJ killed it. And like you said, Fields and Lawrence, it took him a time to get there. Lawrence didn't look good until that last preseason game. And I think it was when they finally said you're the starter, I think mentally it changed for him. And he says, okay, now I'm a little bit more comfortable. I feel he was playing a little tentative and a little anxious. And that's the other thing, is the mental side for these kids. They're 21 years old, 22. They're very young. They're coming in out of college. They got a lot to prove. When you're a first-round pick, a lot to prove. And these kids have a high standard for set out from. But I think all 5 of these rookie quarterbacks in the first round, they can all be really good, man. This is going to be I think when we look back at this class in like 5, 6, 7 years, we might be sitting here and saying, man, God, what a legendary quarterback class, because they all have potential to be great. I really do think that.
And I know I've read some tweets, and it's the odds of all 5 of them hitting are really low. I get it, but I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but I do think that each of them brings a unique value. Like Lawrence is a generational prospect, point blank. Zach Wilson goes number 1 most drafts. Fields goes number 1 most drafts. They just happen to be in the same draft, so you compare them with each other. Mac Jones has perhaps the highest floor of any quarterback drafted in, I don't know, 15, 20, 25 years. Like I get the ceiling limitations on Mac are concerning, yes. But if you told me of the last 20 years worth of quarterbacks, who's a guy that you know week 1 is going to know the playbook and is going to be a competent NFL quarterback?
Mac Jones,
I don't. Is Mac ever going to be a top 10 quarterback? Maybe, maybe not. But could he be a top 25 quarterback right now? Yep, 100%. And there's no projecting there.
Solid player. He's gonna, you know what? Because in Alabama, he was a winning quarterback, and he played the system right, and that's what I felt when we talked about him before. I said, look, he's a guy. He's going to come in. It's not like he's horrible. He was a good player, good players around him, and he digests the playbook, and he's going to get it done. Will he be the greatest of all time or top 5 kind of guy? I don't know, because like you said, his ceiling is kind of limited, but he's going to come in with a good skill set and he's pro ready. That's the word that we touted around when the draft. And then Trey Lance, he has the
I didn't even mention Lance.
Ceiling,
he's an otherworldly prospect.
Yeah.
Like I've said on previous shows that I think Kyler has an outside argument of being the potential number 1 prospect pick ever, right? With the arm talent and the running ability that he's 95% of Mahomes with the arm and 95% of Lamar on the ground. Trey Lance is in that mold. Like I haven't even seen Trey Lance play a regular season NFL game, and there's a chance he's a top 32 prospect. I'm not going to say, like, I'm not saying he's Lawrence or Field or not Fields, Lawrence or Luck or Elway or Peyton, but the talent there, the ceiling there is, again, Lamar Jackson crossed with Patrick Mahomes.
It's there, man, and he's 21 years old. He barely turned 21, barely old enough to drink. That's crazy, man. 21 years old.
I'm so excited for football. And one guy that I'm really excited for, I just took him in a fantasy draft, or I would have taken him in a fantasy draft earlier, but I think Nick beat me to it by like 3 rounds. How are we feeling about Mr. Brandon Ayuk this season?
That's a good question. I love Brandon. I think he's going to have a big season. I do feel his preseason was kind of rough for him, and I don't want to say I was concerned. I just want to say that he has a lot of pressure on him. There's a lot of expectations on him, and this is the second year for a lot of good, receivers, and this is when there's a lot of pressure. You have a good, solid rookie campaign, and then the pressure gets to you, and we've had players in the past, they hit that sophomore slump, they hit that wall, but I think Brandon, you can tell he's really trained hard this offseason. He's put on a lot of muscle, and the expectations are for Brandon Ayuk to be a star-type player in the league. He can become a Pro Bowler in this league. I feel like he can be that type of player. Like, everybody's touting up CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, and they're great. I think Ayuk can be spoken in the same breath as them, but I do feel that his preseason was very weak, and he needs to kind of really step in that week 1 and insert himself and be that alpha type guy that he can be. But the other thing that I feel that might take away from some of his production is that he wants to be the return man, the punt return man. That could change value in a fantasy draft, with him out there returning punts, whether he becomes good at it or if it limits his receiving. That could be a factor down the line. But right now, I still feel that Brandon Ayuk's going to have a big, big breakout season. I really do. But he has to stay healthy, and that's the key with all the players on the Niners, really. I feel like health has really been limiting everybody on like Debo last season, right? Debo was guy who everybody thought was going to have a big time second season, but injuries kind of limited him. And I feel like that's where Brandon Ayuk has to make sure it doesn't happen to him, because I could see him going to that same trajectory if he has a big injury. So far, he's kind of avoided it. He does have a hamstring issue, but they got 2 weeks, in between, now a week and a half in between that first week one game. So I think that he'll be ready, and I think he'll have a big season. But again, he has to be able to stay on that field and stay healthy. And this team they practice hard and they play hard. So that's the only concern I have on Ayuk. But I think he's gonna have a big year.
For sure. And I know, I don't know if you follow Brett Coleman, but I know there was one night I was up just looking at Twitter, and he said Brandon Ayuk is going to have a Devontae Adams kind of season. I sat up in my chair and said, whoa.
He could. He could.
Yes,
He
someone I respect a lot thinks that highly of Ayuk. I need to start watching more. So Ayuk is unreal. And the things he can do after the catch, I guess the things he does before the catch, getting open with route running and separation, the things he does during the catch, winning at the point of attack, turning that separation into a successful catch. And then what he does after the catch, he's not far off what Debo does, AJ Brown does, Terry does. It's honestly crazy. And you pair him with Debo, like Nick mentioned, that it's kind of like a Woods Cup, but more silky and more like I'm just going to break a million tackles, like more like a Laviska Shenault running back, but wide receiver, or AJ Brown is like a running back playing wide receiver with the ball in his hands. So I'm super excited. That's going to be a big time. What's the Game Pass? Is it Game Pass? NFL Game. When I get Game Pass, when I knock Frankie's door down wanting Game Pass, I'm gonna be watching a lot of Niners games.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. Our offense is gonna be fun, and that's the biggest. And I love that you mentioned that, because the Niner receivers, they're basically running backs wide receivers that play like a running back. It's the Yak. They call them the Yak Bros, the Yak Brothers, the yards after the catch. Kittle, bully, hard to take him down, and he's just tough after the catch. Debo, same thing. He used to be a running back, so that's why he's a running back like receiver. Jet sweeps, end arounds, whatever you want to do. And then Ayuk, man, it's hard to take them down. And that's what makes these guys different than other receivers. But that's why I said that game style can wear you down. So staying healthy is so key. Kittle, Debo, they've had a lot of injuries through their career because they played like that. So I hope Ayuk doesn't fall through that same trajectory. But if he can stay healthy and hit the potential that he has, I could definitely see the Devontae Adams, man. This guy, like you said, route running's great. His catch radius, the man's got a go gadget arm. He could catch like crazy, like Megatron. He's got that crazy catch radius like Calvin Johnson, and then he's also just a filthy player after the catch. The jukes, the hurdle. I mean, the hurdle. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of the year last year.
Yeah. Okay, so before I'm going to talk about the running backs, did you see the I think it was Bleacher Report Gridiron had NFL players doing the crate challenge, and it was just Brandon Ayuk hurdling over it.
Yeah,
hurdling. That was
funny. That was funny.
Bleacher Report. That's dub. I know your competition, but
I think it was check down. Actually, I think it was. The check down.
Okay.
I'll take it on my story. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take the L on that one. But the Niners aren't taking L's in that running back room. I talked at length. Trey Sherman, I think he's going to be a stud. I said earlier that he, to me, is the best running back in a Shanahan running system since Terrell Davis.
I agree. This guy is a physical guy.
Yeah. Oh man, the speed to power. It's, again, I don't want to scout the jersey helmet. It kind of reminds me of what J.K. Dobbins did at Ohio State. Sue me for comparing an Ohio State running back to an Ohio State running back, but it's kind of like I've argued that J.K. Dobbins is Zeke without the crop top and the run against Alabama, and Trey Sherman is J.K. Dobbins without the 2,000 yards of production because he had a COVID year.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think Trey Sherman is a round worse than J.K. Dobbins, and I don't think J.K. Dobbins was a round worse than Ezekiel Elliott. It's just the value of running backs. Nah. So I think Sherman's going to be unreal as soon as he becomes I don't want to say RB1 because Shanahan's never going to have a true RB1. You guys always want to ride the hot hand, but in situations that he is the hot hand, the Niners aren't losing. There are no L's being taken.
Yeah, I agree. Trey Sherman's a guy that I talked up a lot this offseason on the live with Smitty, my guy from the Fantasy Football Show, and we talked him up a lot, and I was happy with this pick because we definitely needed a power-type running back, but he can also play with speed, like you said. We needed more depth at running back because we always seem to get hurt at running back. And this guy's a bruiser. He can take a beating. He can beat you. He's going to pound the defenders. He's going to run through the tackles and then make it easier for Raheem Mostert, who only needs 10 carries a game, and he's a home run hitter. And I think Trey Sermon, as he gets more comfortable and as he starts becoming more involved in the offense, you're right, he's just going to be hard to step down and take down. It's like those, like we were talking about the Yak Bros, right? Hard to take down after contact. That's Trey Sermon, but he's a running back, so it's literally the same type of mentality.
Oh, man.
Yeah, exactly. But Trey, it's unbelievable because you're right. He had Shanahan typically with the Niners and just generally, he doesn't take running backs early. He doesn't. He gets seventh rounders, undrafted guys. Look at Raheem Mostert,
Alfred Morris in 2012.
Jeff Wilson Jr. You know, all these guys that we've had over the years.
Michael Hasty.
Yeah, exactly. They're all undrafted late. He purposely went and drafted Trey Sherman in the third round, which I think that was a steal. He went to the third round to take a running back. Do you not realize, Shanahan, the running mentality, drafting a running back third round, this guy's going to be absolutely a superstar when it's all said and done. I can't wait for this guy. But, yeah, that whole running back department the Niners have, it's going to be murderer's row. That was probably one of the hardest cuts they had to make for the 53-man roster today. They had to get rid of Wayne Gallman. This guy could have played on any team. He could be a starter. He's very serviceable for Saquon Barkley.
He was awesome with the Giants last year.
And he's a great pass protector, and he's a great player that catching out of the backfield. So I hope we can get him back on the practice squad because he was solid, but we couldn't give up on Jermichael Hasty and Elijah Mitchell. The potential those two guys have, we can't cut them. They would have been snagged by Seattle.
Right. Yeah, and you don't want that staying in the division because, just run right behind Damian Lewis and you're picking up a bunch of yards. So I love what San Francisco's done with running back. We talked about the quarterbacks extensively. We've talked about wide receivers. You know that I think George Kittle is the best tight end in the NFL. Yeah. So let's move over to the defense. Fred Warner, he got a bag. That was a large. I think we did a show and
we did a show remember. I think the week before we were like, I think he's inside, and the week after I was like, oh, we got the bag, man. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. So, what do we think? What are the expectations for the Niners defense this year? Of course, in 2019, it was that elite unit. I believe top 6 in both scoring and total yards. There was the San Francisco game, or the San Francisco New Orleans game at the end kind of screwed everything up because you allowed 45 points, but you won the game. Yeah. So who cares? So allowed a lot of points, but you still won, and that's a game that you're playing an NFC powerhouse. And so, as much as I like to use season-long stats to support my arguments, there are some times that they're faulty. That's one of the faulty ones. So they had an elite defense as far as I'm concerned, but you get dragged down because you have one game against the Saints, right?
Sure.
So what are the expectations heading into 2021 about that Niner defense?
Honestly, this season, I get a lot of the same vibes that we had in 2019. I mean, if you really break down the core of this team and we have pretty much the similar team as 2019. We've lost a few players, DeForest Buckner, unfortunately, Emmanuel Sanders, Richard Sherman. There's been a few players. But for the most part, we've pretty much kept the same defense intact. But there's been a few more additions. Kinlaw, year 2 should explode. He got the return of Nick Bosa. Oh, my God. Oh, man. Fred Warner, arguably the best linebacker in the league. Bag season. Now he's got to go earn that, prove that money, and he's entering the prime of his career, the leader. And I feel like this front 7, the defensive line and the linebackers, this unit is so good. I mean, they led the preseason in sacks. They didn't play Bosa much. They didn't play DJ Jones. D Ford didn't even play. And D Ford coming back healthy this season, that's a huge blessing. I didn't even think he was going to make the roster because of the injuries. That's a huge dub. They got Samson Ebicam. They have 11 linemen. They purposely kept all the linemen they could. Today, the reports were they were fielding calls for all their linemen. They wanted people wanted trades. Shanahan says, no, I'm keeping this D-line intact because he knows if they can keep that line rotating, keep Nick Bosa healthy, which was smart to have 11 linemen. You don't want to, wear Bosa down. He's coming off the ACL. And keep the pressure on a quarterback. It's going to take pressure off the secondary. And the other thing is, D'Amico Ryans, the new DC, this guy's aggressive, man. I love Salah, and I think he's going to do amazing with the Jets. Ryans. But D'Amico Ryans, man, he's a whole different ballgame. They're aggressive. They've been blitzing the corners, blitzing the safeties. We got some young talent, a lot of rookies. Demetor Lenore, the kid from Oregon, he flashed this preseason.
Yes.
Bunga from UFC, gem, 5th-round gem. A lot of young kids. Jason Verrett healthy this season. Emmanuel Mosley looking to take a step. So I think our defensive expectations is to be as good or maybe even better than 2019. But the big key and the theme of our team is got to stay healthy, because Nick Bosa, if he doesn't stay healthy, throw it all away. If Fred Warner can't stay healthy, throw it all away. But those guys are the X factors, and I think Dre Greenlaw, another guy we have talked about, this guy's going to take that leap. But man, I'm just excited that Fred got paid, and you know he's coming to bring the fire. Yeah.
Yes. So before we move on, I have a question for you. I got into an argument on Instagram the other day. I posted my top 100, and I had Nick Bosa ahead of Daniel Hunter, and the guy said, well, neither of them played in 2020, and Hunter was better in 19. And then I said that Nick Bosa was the best player on a team that was a play away from winning the Super Bowl and would have won Super Bowl MVP had the Niners won. One, do you agree with that? Do you think if the Niners had won the Super Bowl, who do you think would have won MVP?
Nick Bosa would have won the MVP in that game. He was dominating that game. But he had like 13 pressures. He would have won Super Bowl MVP, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, glad we're on the same page there. I wanted a confirmation from a Niners fan that I wasn't grasping at straws. I'm sorry to bring up bad memories, but I had to.
Yeah, I had to think about it. I was like, wait, why is he talking about the Super Bowl? I was like PTSD. But yeah, Nick Bosa would have won.
Okay. Yeah, and we're both. Nick Bosa is unreal. He is going to have a kabazillion pressures this season. He is going to have 17 kabazillion sacks. I am so excited to see Nick Bosa. I remember, I don't know if Nick's still on with us. I remember before the season, I said Nick Bosa is the easiest 14 sack rookie in NFL history. He didn't hit 14 sacks, but he had enough pressures to, he was close. And then you factor in the playoff performance where he had a Von Miller-like performance as a rookie. Keep that in mind, as a rookie. As a rookie, and we talked this year about the guys that, Trey Lance only played one college game. Sewell earlier didn't play 2020. Chase didn't play in 2020. Nick Bosa played like 3 games. They checked out the rest of the season, comes in as the number 2 pick, and then is a top, 50 player in the league immediately.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the crazy thing.
I'm so excited.
He didn't need to play a lot to show that he was great in the pros. You're right. He didn't play much in college because he wanted to keep his body right. And I feel like he's just built different, man. I say it all the time. He's just this physical specimen. Have you seen how he looks? He looks like chiseled out of stone. The guy's unbelievable, man. So
every edge I looked up today was Myles Garrett and TJ Watt were the main ones, but every defensive player I looked up today, it was just like a picture of them shirtless. It's like, it's crazy, come on. It's funny.
Nick Bosa, he knows what he's doing for the ladies, but the thing I already know Nick Bosa's coming back, because last week, all the practice reports, it was Nick Bosa. He returned to team drills last week. It was the first time he was in team practice. He's been warming up. He's been doing the regular drills, the sled and this and that. He's looked good. He showed his rehab videos all off season. But last week, for the first time since he tore the ACL, he's been doing team drills. You want to know what he did on his first snap on team drills on 11 on 11s?
To be a sack, right?
He got a sack on his first freaking team drill. I was like, he's back. It's over. Game over. Twitter
it's over.
Exploded. Dave Lombardi tweets it out, and it says on his first snap of 11 on 11 drills, Nick Bosa gets a sack. The whole Twitter world was I had to post. I was like, this is crazy. He's back, man. And then the other thing that happened last week was Trent Williams was interviewed last week wearing the Residency hat. I don't know if you guys see that. These hats are amazing. Shout out to Residency. He interviewed Nick Bosa, and he says he's gotten better. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten stronger after coming off an ACL tear. So if Trent Williams, the man at left tackle, one of arguably the best left tackle in the league, sits there and he tells the people that Nick Bosa has gotten better and stronger after coming off an injury,
that's scary.
That's scary, man.
Oh man, you're talking like perennial All-Pro or perennial Pro Bowler, All-Pro caliber, and then he has his like glowing endorsement. It's kind of, I can't even think of an example. It would be like, I don't know, Rodgers hyping up Devontae Adams. It's like star hypes up other star, and it just works. And I'm super excited to see Nick Bosa. He might. Okay, I'm a huge Joey Bosa fan, but Nick Bosa could be like, hey, I'm actually the better Bosa brother this season. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And that's top 5 edge right there. So, man, you're talking, what a time to be alive for, if you like edge rushers. Garrett's unreal. Watt's unreal.
The both Bosas. Yeah.
Chase Young is on. Oh man.
Oh, Chase Young is a monster, man. I got, you know what? I got respect for that guy. Oh my God, that guy's so good.
Did he have a was a scoop score against the Niners?
Let's not bring that one up
Okay,
again.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it was. Yeah, he's good, man.
Okay.
He's good. That
What-
Washington D line is pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
Montez Sweat and Chase Young. It's not fair. Yeah, it's crazy.
And yet, Ioannidis was hurt all year, and they still were awesome. You know, you got Payne, and you got not Jared Allen, Jonathan Allen. It's like all first round picks.
Crazy. Dude.
I need to help you out, and you get like a jab in at me and my Ravens at some point.
It's all good, man. I got respect for everybody. You know, I will say this: prayers up to J.K. Dobbins, man. That's I hate to see that. I hate injuries like that, man.
I was live when I saw a tweet from I think Mike Florio, and it was Ravens running back J.K. Dobbins down on the turf holding his knee, and like my face, like I'm pretty red right now, right?
Yeah.
My face went total white. Just
oh God.
It was like,
and you got the tweet notification from Mike Florio of all people. I can't stand that guy. You know, he's
I don't know exactly who it was.
I know.
Maybe it was Mike Garofalo. It was someone named Mike. It's someone
Mike
that
Garoppolo.
I follow.
That guy's on top of the game.
Yeah, I was just like, are you actually kidding me?
When I saw it, as I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, I knew. I was like, ACL, man. It's
like
just rough.
my heart broke.
I now
have 2 torn ACL players sitting in my closet with Dobbins and Acuna, and it's just heartbreaking.
I know how it is, man. We've been through it too over here in Ninerland. You know, Jimmy Ward, Jalen Hurts, the jump. Hey, I'm just happy.
I heard the Jalen Hurts hype train.
Yo, that's like the Niner cult figure right there. If you're a Niner fan, you've been pulling for this man for the longest time. Like, this is the most patient we've ever been on a player. He made the roster today. I'm happy for my boy Jalen. Yeah.
It's funny to me. There's a couple like players on each team that like fans flock to. So every team believes their slot cornerback is a top 5 slot corner without fail. Every team believes their offensive coordinator sucks without fail. And every team, if you have the third rule is if you have a fullback that is relevant, so Juszczyk, Ricard, CJ Ham, guys like that, they are one of your favorite players, whether you like it or not.
Oh, I love Juice, man.
Yeah, I love Juice too. I miss him. We freaking have a Pro Bowler replacement. I
know that's the crazy part. You replaced Juice with the Pro Bowler, but so you can't be too mad. But Kyle Juszczyk, man,
we replaced the guy before Juice was Vonta Leach, and he was an All-Pro.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, you guys run a very, I wouldn't say similar, but you guys run a run-heavy offense, and you need a good fullback, and that's why they're Pro Bowl like us, run heavy. We need to have a good fullback, and the blocking and all that. I love Juice, man. I was another guy. I was happy we were able to bring him back. Very vital part of this offense. That guy's. They need to use him more in the offense, man, because he runs routes like a freaking receiver. It's crazy.
Yeah, he is. It's like. You know, like McCaffrey gets love for being, he could play slot receiver. I think Kyle Juszczyk could low-key like be a competent receiver in the NFL.
I really do.
He's just like typecast into a running or typecast to a fullback role. And it's like you could probably use him more as like a tight end.
Probably play like that Wes Welker type role, man, because he's got speed. He's good at block. He does it all. Like there was one play. I mean,
stiff arm to Minka into the ground that one.
Oh, the stiff arm against Minka. But there was one play that stood out to me in his career with the Niners, and it's because it's Seattle. He runs a wheel route, just ate the corner alive, and it was like a 50-yard play. I was like, oh my! When I saw that and he routed up the cornerback, I was like, this guy is, because they threw him out on the edge, and I was like, they putting Kyle out in wide receiver, and he routed up the corner, wheel routed him up, and I was like, oh my God, use this man more in passing downs, man. This guy's so underrated.
How do you feel about him being, I think, number 97 or 98 in the NFL Top 100? Get some fullback love in there.
I mean, it's nice to have him in. He should be higher, but it's just nice to get love at all. But I take those rankings with a grain of salt because they're always wrong. But it's nice to see your players when they're. Of course, I get excited. Juice was in there. Kittle was in there. Warner was in there, and Fred Warner. I mean, we got 4 players. You can't be mad.
Yeah, I think Kittle should have been a lot higher, but
I mean, I get the injuries.
I thought he was a deserving Pro Bowl guy, even though he played 8 games. Granted, that's how bad Evan Ingram is.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. That George Kittle outproduced Evan Ingram, and Ingram played 8 games.
Yeah, 8 more games. Yeah, I agree, but I get it why they low ranked him is because of the injuries. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to cry over it because, again, this season's a whole new season. I don't even want to think about last year. That was a wash. That was a horrible year. We're going to come back stronger. We're going to bounce back and prove everybody wrong. So, yeah, do I think he should have been ranked better? Yeah, of course. But injuries happen, so I can see why the ranking was really low. The guy that really surprised me was Fred Warner. I think he should have been top 15. They gave him number 21. That's fine. And then Trent Williams, I know he missed like 2 games at the end, but best left tackle in the league shouldn't be ranked lower than Bakhtiari. But I'm not.
Yeah, okay. They are, as a whole, they're disrespectful to the offensive linemen. Like, okay, I'm a Stanley guy. I think he's the best pass protector in the NFL, and as Trent Williams is the best run blocker at any position in the NFL, 1,000 bazillion%. But I would value pass protection over run blocking, so I'll take Stanley. So I think that's fair. But just like I had Trent Williams, I think at 21, I had like Stanley, Bakhtiari, and Williams like all clustered together, and I think that's what I think that's the right thing to do. That on any given day, Trent might be the best, Bach might be the best, Stanley might be the best.
They're all good.
But, like, come on, Zach Martin was in the 80s. Like,
come on, man. I know it's ridiculous. You see Trent Williams this week throw a man. He threw a man like a rat. Come on, nobody else does that. Every week, it's like what lineman has a highlight package? This man, I could go through my highlights.
But Nelson has a gnarly one, but yeah, Trent.
And he has a highlight package, dude. He like picks up these guys and he just throws them like a rag doll. It's unbelievable, dude.
I don't know if you caught my I did my top 50 today, and in my Trent Williams section, I said this man turns grown men, grown edge rushers and defensive tackles and interior, whatever defensive lineman you throw at him, he turns them into children.
He really does. It's crazy. I mean, every week he has a highlight, like a big pancake or a toss on somebody, or you just get a move, bitch, get out my way, kind of ludicrous kind of stuff. It's crazy, man.
It is so much fun to. I've always been a wide receiver and cornerback guy when I watch film, but Trent Williams is changing my mind. I'm wanting to watch a lot more. Oh man,
the last few years I've really, because of Shanahan, the way he runs is same. I like watching receivers and corners and things like that and studying quarterbacks. But man, ever since Shanahan took over, I love to study these old linemen to kind of see where they're moving, see how the hole opens up for the running back. It's crazy. So, but yeah, any other comments, questions, concerns? I'm gonna have to wrap it up a little bit. I got some things I gotta do.
I don't think so. What are we thinking wins wise, and where did the Niners finish in the division?
Niners first place in division. We're going 13-4 if everything goes right. I can't see them. I can't see them lose. I can't see them have a worse record than 10 wins, but they got to stay healthy. I honestly think that we're going to take the division. Rams number 2, Cardinals number 3, and Seattle number 4. That defense is a little sketchy. They're going to be in shootouts.
Man, I think I mentioned a couple hours ago that I was really high on Seattle's offense, and I said Russell Wilson could be fantasy QB1, and this might be the year he finally gets like MVP votes.
Yeah.
But okay, look, we've been talking for 45 minutes about the 49ers. Obviously, I'm going to Ayuk is great, Kittle's great. The Niners are going to be really good. I know I got some flack for putting them in the top 10 of my power rankings, but I think I don't know. They're going to be gnarly offensively, and as soon as Trey area.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be fun times. The NFC, at the end of the day, the NFC West is going to be a dog fight, man. Dog fight.
This might be the year. The last year we mentioned it. All 4 teams can make it. This might be the year that all 4 freaking teams make it, because I don't trust New Orleans. Minnesota, I don't know what the heck Kirk Cousins is doing. And then really, I don't even have to talk about the NFC least. Like the Rams had more wins in the NFC East than like any NFC East team had. Yeah. And they played 4 games. So, with that said, it's great to have you back.
It's good to be back, man. We'll be back at it. I'm happy to be here. It was fun to talk to you tonight, as always. It's good to be back, man. And this is going to be a fun season. You know, you got my number. Hit me up, and we'll keep going. And we got to get back to what we were doing over the last. It's been a good little break, but I'm back. I'm happy to be back.
I might have to do some maybe. I don't know what your Instagram schedule is, but I know with the Jets guys, we do a post-game show. We did a couple post-game shows. So I would imagine you're like booked or slammed or whatever.
I'll try my best, man. I'll hit you up and say, hey, let's throw something together. But game days are busy, man. I need to get an accountant. I need to hire someone to help me out, man.
Oh man, I have to work all day Sunday, and then Frankie's like, "Yeah, go do post game shows." It's like, who the heck is posting on the app? I'm the one that does that.
I could quit my job, I would do this for a full-time gig. I really would.
Oh yeah.
I'm taking in applications for a sugar mama also. So if anybody wants to help me out, let me know so I can do this all day.
All right.
All right, my man. Good to see you again,
It's a pleasure having you on.